Welcome to the next part of our Q&A session that we're doing. We've been recording in my house in Exeter. Jamie's come down to visit, and you guys have submitted loads of questions on both of our channels, and we've been answering ones about Oxford, about our personal stuff, but now we're going to be answering some questions about
work-related and life in general kind of questions.
Do you want to tell us?
So we've got Mohammed, and he has asked, do you think it's effective to take notes in the lecture or write it down in a notebook and then go home and copy those notes in an extra information book and write it neatly in another book? In general, what do you guys think is an effective way of taking notes?
So the way you've described is basically what I did for physics, and that does take a large amount of time. I can't guarantee it's the most efficient way of doing it, but it does do the job. It's very thorough. Do you prefer a little bit more of a...
So I think when you're in the lecture, you should just be paying attention. Try to do something active that allows you to make sure that you're focusing on what is being said.
This does vary from lecture to lecture, by the way.
It does.
Because in physics, for example, a lot of the lecture is derivations on the board, and so
you need to write those down.
Whereas in humanities, it's more about making you think.
Yeah, so like the economics things, you need to start paying attention, like, and start jotting things down. Whereas, like, for say you're being introduced to Hume's theory on causation, you can just listen. But an effective way of taking notes.
When you leave that lecture, you're being exhumed.
Yep. Hey Jamie and Simon, what ways can an international fund their degree if doing something like medicine, which is very expensive and there are no scholarships available? I think you know the answer to this one, right?
Well, there are... So Oxford has a fantastic funding search sequence. Sorry, a search engine on their website which searches for scholarships and funds. It sounds like you've already done that. In which case, it's tough because, as you say, it is very expensive as an international. If there isn't stuff available...
So there's this amazing story of this woman who got a place to do a master's at Oxford, but she didn't have any funding for it. So she started a hashtag and a Twitter account called Oxford 10,000.
Oh, yeah.
And she crowdfunded £10,000 from friends, family, and also just people who believed that she should be able to go do a master's program. So potentially you could look at crowdfunding. You could
do that, but it's a big issue. You know, Oxford is really expensive if you're an international.
Yeah, it is.
It's
oh my god.
But it's possible.
Yep. I would say definitely for undergrad, I thought the investment was worth it.
Yeah, absolutely.
How important is work experience? Do you recommend me to do an internship or an apprenticeship? In which case, can I get work experience and a free degree?
What did you do for your work experience?
What do you mean when I was like 15?
Yeah, I assume that was what they were asking about.
Yeah. Oh, okay, so I'm wondering if the question... So when I was 15, I did accountancy as work experience, but I'm not sure if you're also asking, should you get work experience while also getting a qualification at the same time?
I'm not sure.
But we can just answer in general as how good getting work experience is, and then you can use that to inform.
Before university, it's not terribly important, I don't think.
No.
I didn't do any. I went to NASA instead.
No. Oh, what? To NASA?
Yeah, I did 2 weeks at the Space Centres. There was a national competition which I was part of a team on.
Okay, so now I need to go to NASA and you need to go to CERN.
Yeah. So he's been to CERN before I have, and I have a physics degree.
I've been to NASA and I wanted to be an astronaut.
I wanted to be an astronaut too, so...
But with your work experience question, so I think work experience is incredibly valuable to get because one, it helps you grow as a person, it helps you figure out what it is you might want to do in the future. So in first year I did work experience in Tokyo, in second year I did work experience in Google, and then third year now I've just done work experience at a startup accelerator. So again, slowly narrowing down exactly what I want to do, and it's really valuable. And plus, getting that experience shows that you aren't just a one-trick pony. You know industry related stuff as well as you do your degree. It's
also a valuable source of income if you can be paid.
Oh yeah, forgot about the money.
Because I did a second year so in my second year I did work experience at an engineering company and I got paid for that, so that was good. That paid for me to do, I was seeing my girlfriend in California, so I needed the money. And I also in my third year did work experience at a research group in the department. So basically I was testing to see whether a PhD was for me. So I did a whole summer doing research and it turned out it was. So, you know, if I hadn't done that I wouldn't have known. So.
Like a big general tip with work experience, you have no idea what you want to do in life because you haven't done loads of things yet. So go do something.
Be a doer, go do it.
And figure out if you like it or not. And if you don't, go do something else.
Lots of things to choose from.
Like the next question. Do you have any good tips? This is from Lily. Do you have any good tips on keeping calm during interviews/presentations?
A technique which I found from meditation. Meditation's actually a good thing to study to improve this anyway. Is just to keep your breathing nice and regular. keep your breathing, and also to have good posture. Because if you have good posture, you don't slouch over.
You actually notice we're both sitting up.
Yeah. Quite you know, you fill your lungs more, and just oxygenating yourself relieves stress. So calm, deep breaths. Keeping your feet planted on the floor is another good one. If you have the ball of your foot and the heel of your foot and like all of your toes like firmly planted, you feel more secure. Generally, the best way to deal with it, to be honest, is to get experience. That's the best way.
Yeah, that was my tip. I was going to say practice makes perfect.
Yeah.
The more you do the presentation, the better you'll be at knowing the material, which means you don't have to think about that. You don't have to worry about it. It just happens. That means you can focus on everything else.
She's also asked, do you have any motivational tips or ways to just start working? We've already sort of done...
Yeah, we answered that in a previous question and answer,
You
but
have to watch all the videos now.
Summary of that would be just do it.
Yeah, just get on and do it, and if you don't do it, no one else will.
Yep.
And also, any good books in your fields?
Oh gosh.
That is your field, basically.
Books. It depends what you're looking for, right?
Yeah. I mean, I did 2 videos on physics book recommendations, so I've kind of answered that there.
I recommend Gödel, Escher, Bach. Go read that. It's huge. And it's a great introduction to philosophy and computing and how you can help understand the world of computing we currently live in. It's cool. Yeah, it's great. Go read that.
Oh, what was the one you were saying yesterday about virtual reality? Ready Player One.
Oh, yeah, go read Ready Player One if you want to know about how virtual reality is going to change the world. It's a great book.
I'm reading Paradise Lost at the moment, but I wouldn't recommend reading that unless
For physics.
Yeah, unless you have some kind of bizarre obsession with it in physics.
Okay, so Shizak has asked, what percentage of people in Oxford can get a job right after graduation? Do you think it's necessary to do graduate school if you want to get a good job?
It's absolutely not necessary. You can do it.
It depends what you want to do, right? If you want to be a scientific individual who's really specialist, then you're gonna have to do a graduate.
Yeah. Whereas if you just want to go into a corporate job, most people will apply in their 3rd year. And it's important to realise that, going to Oxford is definitely a help in getting jobs like that, but it's not a guarantee. You still have to really work to get those jobs.
If you so you don't even need to have a degree to get a job. This is a complete false thing we've been told, kind of, by the current structure that we're in. Oh yeah, revolution. But if you want to start your own company, you just need to start doing it. You don't need to have a degree behind you. But what a degree does do is it teaches you skills you can apply in various other areas. Like, I definitely think Oxford has taught me how to manage my time, how to prioritize, and how to think.
It's taught you to question everything.
Yeah.
That's the other thing.
Definitely. Like, so during graduation, the Vice Chancellor says, we have equipped you to carry on the mantra of the university, which is separating the truth from the seemingly true. So this question is from...
So yeah, Anam has asked, how do you stay motivated when revision gets a bit much? Go for a walk. That's a good one. Distance yourself from it a little bit. I mean, it's important to keep working, but it's equally important to realise that by taking a little bit of time out of your work, you are going to be able to do much more in the long run.
No.
So be kind to yourself. That's a good way, I think.
My tip is very, very similar. It's just take a break. Like, I used to ping my friend on Facebook and say, hey, let's go get an ice cream. Upon we doing like 8 hours in the library, it's just like, this is ridiculous. Like, talking about what Simon says, you've got to think about the marginal gains you're getting. So say if you have one piece of chocolate, you might get a huge amount of pleasure from that one piece, but upon getting the second piece, you get slightly less because you just had another piece. If by the 10th piece of chocolate, you're getting like that much additional pleasure. And you've got to think about that in terms of your productivity. So if you put in an extra hour of work, you might be getting that much, but your initial hour was that much. So when you're getting to that stage, that's when you should have a break.
Yeah.
Because it will refresh you and keep you motivated.
You're a man, not a machine.
Questions for both of you from Sati. Know any good revision tips? All the ones we've said in our videos.
Watch my video on how to study effectively.
And watch my video on 4 top study tips.
Repetition is the one thing which I say. You keep going over the work and do keep a diary.
Small repeated chunks.
Yeah.
I think there's a good summary of both of our advice in general.
There we go.
And how many hours are required for you degrees to get a first?
The hours aren't important.
Yeah, hours aren't important. It's how smart you are.
Yeah, that said, you do have to work
working,
a lot.
not
you do have to. I mean, they recommend a 40-hour working week.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think I did more than that. But it's all about working in the right way.
Any great study tips / websites for A-levels?
Says
I can recommend YouTube channels. That one.
This one. BBC was pretty good when I was revising.
Yeah, Bite Size is decent.
Student Room's another good one.
The Student Room has a fantastic amount of resources for you to play into if you haven't heard of it. Definitely check that out and find the forum section that fulfills what you are looking for.
And mention us, mention our videos.
Yeah.
Go for.
What else did you both apply for from Adam Carter? We've said this.
Yeah, this is in a previous video.
This is in a previous video. You should check out the previous video. It's going to be the first one that's on Simon's channel, probably. So go check that out. And that is the end of this video. And now we're moving on to the next session. So goodbye! Yeah, actually, we probably
could. There's so much stuff that
we are so wise.
We are like YouTube sensei.